I never thought I'd be the kind of guy who'd end up in a situation like this. A fucking murder charge. Illegal shit on my record that I never even touched. My whole life destroyed overnight because I made one stupid decision. And the worst part? I still don't even fully understand how it happened. It all started with the course. I've always been good with computers. Not like a hacker or some genius coder or anything, but good enough. I know how to get into places I shouldn't. I know how to cover my tracks, and most importantly, I know how desperate people are to believe in easy money. I had been fucking broke for months. Credit card maxed out, rent overdue, no job, no real skills outside of basic tech shit. And every time I scrolled through Instagram, it was just crypto bros flashing their Lambos, influencers selling their secrets to wealth, scammers making bank. And I thought, why not me? I wasn't trying to rob people blind or ruin lives or anything. I just wanted a shortcut, a way to make quick money without working a 9 to 5 like a fucking idiot. So I did what any other desperate idiot does. I went on the dark web. I had used Tor before, dabbled a little in some of the sketchy marketplaces, but I had never actually bought anything serious. Just browsing, curiosity shit. But that night I wasn't just looking for drugs or fake passports or whatever other insane shit people sell on there. I was looking for a way in. It didn't take long. There was a forum, Crimson Road. It wasn't flashy, just black text on a red background, no logos or branding, just straight business. The posts were all locked unless you had an invite code. Luckily, I knew my way around. I scraped some info from another dark website, used a brute force script, and managed to crack a low-tier account. Just enough access to browse. And that's when I found it. A post titled, "Make $10,000 a week, no skills needed, no risks." I clicked. The post was short and simple. We teach you how to scam, real scams, bank fraud, identity theft, wire transfers, phishing, deepfake AI, all of it. Step by step. You will never get caught. Full course, $500 in Bitcoin. Message Midas to purchase. I hesitated for about 2 seconds before I opened my crypto wallet. The transfer went through in minutes. I messaged Midas with the transaction ID. Within seconds he replied, "Welcome to the family. Check your email." I froze. My email? I never gave him my fucking email. I checked anyway. Sure enough, there it was. An email from an unknown sender. No subject line. Just a download link. I shouldn't have clicked it. I know that now, but I did. A zip file downloaded to my laptop. I unzipped it, and inside was a single PDF. Midas Touch, the art of the perfect scam. I opened it. It wasn't just a guide, it was a fucking Bible. It had chapters. Sections on fake credit card generation, SIM swapping, hacking weak bank accounts, laundering money through crypto tumblers. It even had scripts, word-for-word scripts to use on scam calls to pretend to be a bank rep or an insurance agent or whatever else would get people to trust me. It was fucking insane. And it made sense, like disturbingly good sense. I spent the entire night studying, taking notes, planning, and then I passed out. When I woke up the next day, my apartment was already surrounded by cops. At first, I thought it was a mistake. I thought maybe there was a fire nearby or a fugitive in my building. I didn't realize they were there for me. Until I heard the megaphone. "Jason Carter, exit the building with your hands up. You are under arrest." I went cold. Jason Carter, my full legal name. How the fuck did they know? My laptop was still open. The dark web forum was still up. The Midas PDF was right there. I started panicking. I slammed the lid shut, grabbed my phone, and opened Twitter. Maybe someone was tweeting about what was happening. Maybe there was a way to figure this out. And that's when I saw it. My fucking face. Trending. Breaking news. Jason Carter arrested for murder and possession of illegal goods from the dark web. Murder. Murder. My whole body locked up. I felt like I was about to pass out. I scrolled down, hands shaking. Every major news outlet had already picked it up. CNN, Fox, BBC, fucking TMZ. And there was a video. I shouldn't have clicked it. But I did. The footage was grainy from a security camera, a gas station. Mr. standing in front of a gas station at 3:42 a.m. holding a knife. And in front of me, a dead body. Blood pooling across the pavement. And the worst part, I recognized the body because it was the same guy from the dark web forum, Midas. I felt my stomach turn inside out. I had never been there. I had never even met this guy. I had never touched a fucking knife. But there it was, video proof. My hands started shaking so hard my phone nearly slipped out of them. I backed away from my desk, my head spinning, my heart racing. This wasn't possible. This wasn't fucking possible. Then I heard the door bust open, heavy boots, multiple. Down on the fucking ground now! I didn't even have time to react. Something slammed into the back of my head. I hit the floor hard. The last thing I saw before my vision went black was my laptop screen, and on it, the dark web forum. A new post, titled, Lesson 1 Complete, Welcome to the Game. I woke up to the sound of metal clanking. My wrists were cuffed to a fucking table. Fluorescent lights buzzed overhead, casting that sickly yellowish glow that instantly screamed police interrogation room. The walls were plain, cold, lifeless. No windows, just a single one-way mirror. My head was pounding. My mouth was dry. This wasn't a dream. I was actually here. I took a deep breath, trying to keep myself from freaking the fuck out. I needed to think, fast. The last thing I remembered was getting tackled by cops in my own apartment. My laptop was still open. They had seen everything. They had proof. But the thing was, it wasn't proof of anything I actually did. That gas station footage, it wasn't real. It couldn't be. Because I was asleep when it happened. So how the fuck was I on camera? I was still trying to process when the door swung open. A guy walked in, mid-40s, buzz cut, FBI windbreaker. His face was blank, but his eyes were cold as hell. He looked at me like he had already decided I was guilty. He sat down across from me, silent for way too long, just staring. Finally, he reached into a folder, pulled out a photo, and slid it across the table. I looked down, and my stomach flipped. It was the crime scene, the gas station, the body, blood everywhere. The guy in the photo, Midas, was lying face up on the pavement. His throat was slashed open, deep, too deep. I couldn't look at it. I pushed it away. The agent didn't react. He just reached into the folder and pulled out something way worse, another photo. But this time, it was a screenshot of my laptop screen. The dark web forum, my username, my fucking post history. The proof that I had bought the scam course from Midas. And then the worst part, a direct message from me. Job done, where's my cut? I froze. I never sent that message. I never fucking sent that message. My mouth went dry. That's fake. The agent didn't blink. It came from your laptop. No, I shook my head, heart racing. Someone hacked me, framed me. This isn't real. I never even met that guy. The agent leaned forward. So you're saying you were hacked? Yes, I almost shouted. He didn't react. He just sat back, arms crossed. You expect me to believe that? After we pulled your fingerprints from the gas station? I felt my blood turn to ice. What? My voice came out weak. The agent pulled out another photo, a knife, sitting in an evidence bag, and on the handle, my fucking fingerprints. My chest tightened. My skin felt cold. This isn't happening. This isn't fucking happening. There's no way, I whispered. I was in my apartment all night. I never left. Check the security cameras. We did, the agent interrupted. He flipped open another folder. Apartment security footage shows your door never opened. Not once. My mind was spinning. I was in my apartment, but I was at the crime scene. at the same time. That's when I realized this wasn't a normal frame job. This was something else. The agent tapped his fingers on the table. We have video evidence, fingerprints, and a digital paper trail that leads right back to you. I shook my head. That doesn't make sense. You're telling me I teleported? Or what? Someone wore my skin? This is bullshit. The agent didn't flinch. Then he pulled out one last thing. A USB drive. He plugged it into a laptop, spun it around, and hit play on a new video. The footage was different. Not grainy security footage, something high quality, like a live stream. The video showed a room, dark, concrete walls, no windows, a chair in the middle, and in the chair, Mr. tied up, eyes open, staring blankly at the camera. Then slowly, I smiled. Not a normal smile. Something wrong, something not human. And then in the video my voice, but not my voice, spoke. Lesson 2. Always leave a fall guy. The video cut off. Silence. My blood ran cold. The agent's expression finally changed. For the first time since he walked in, he actually looked uneasy. I wasn't breathing. I wasn't even thinking anymore. My mind was fucking gone because I had never been in that room. I had never spoken those words. But it was me, on camera. And I was smiling like I had planned all of this. The agent closed the laptop. Tell me what's going on. I opened my mouth, but nothing came out. Because I didn't have a fucking answer. All I knew was one thing. I had clicked the link, I had bought the course, and now I was the next lesson. I was fucked. That was the only thought running through my head. I was completely and utterly fucked. I sat there in that freezing interrogation room, hands cuffed to the metal table, staring at the blank wall, trying to breathe, trying not to lose my fucking mind. The fucking video, it was me. It looked exactly like me. Same face, same voice, but it wasn't me. I had never been in that room. I had never said those words. But somehow, the footage existed. The FBI agent, Agent Harris, had left the room after showing me that clip, probably to talk to someone higher up, probably deciding whether I was some genius criminal or some psycho who had finally cracked. I wasn't either. I was just a dumbass who clicked the wrong link. And now I was living inside a nightmare. I glanced at the door. Still locked. No way out. My wrists were raw from the cuffs. I needed to think. Fast. Okay, so what did I know? I bought the scam course. Midas was dead. I was being framed for it in a way that didn't make sense. The evidence against me was impossible. And most importantly, someone out there wanted me to take the fall. And I had a fucking feeling it wasn't the cops. I was still trying to make sense of it all when I heard something strange, a low, buzzing noise coming from the table. I looked down and saw something that made my heart skip a beat. The laptop. Agent Harris's laptop. It was still on. And the screen was changing. I froze. The mouse cursor was moving on its own, flickering across the screen. Then one by one letters started appearing in a text document. You should have stuck to your day job. I felt a sharp stab of fear in my chest. The screen flickered. The text erased itself. Then new words started appearing. Lesson 3, silence the witness. My breath hitched, and then the room went dark. Total blackout. I barely had time to react before I heard the sound of the door unlocking. Someone was inside the room with me. I couldn't see shit. I pulled against my cuffs, my breathing ragged. Footsteps, slow, deliberate. I wanted to scream, call for help, but I knew something deep in my gut. Whoever just walked into this room wasn't a cop. A voice, barely above a whisper. Shh. If you scream, it'll hurt worse. Fuck, 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 fuck. I flinched as I felt something cold press against my throat. Metal, a blade, then another sound. Gunfire, loud, right outside the room. The blade vanished from my skin. The footsteps retreated. Another gunshot, then another. Shouting, chaos. the sound of bodies hitting the floor. I pressed myself back against the chair, my heart slamming in my chest. What the fuck was happening? The door burst open, light flooded back in, and standing there in the doorway was Agent Harris, gun in one hand, his other hand covered in blood. "Get up!" he snapped. "We need to go now." I'm cuffed," I stammered. He reached into his pocket, pulled out a key, and within seconds, my wrists were free. He grabbed my arm and hauled me to my feet. "We don't have much time. They're already inside." I didn't even have a chance to ask who before he shoved me into the hallway. And that's when I saw the bodies. 2 agents, dead, throats cut, eyes wide open, staring at nothing. I almost threw up. "Move!" Harris barked. He wasn't playing around. He was gripping his gun so tight his knuckles were white. I forced myself to move, stepping over the blood pooling on the floor. The FBI office was in complete chaos. People were shouting, running. Some kind of alarm was blaring. And the bodies, there were more of them. I had no idea who the fuck was attacking us, and I didn't want to stick around to find out. Harris led me through a side exit, down a staircase, then into the parking garage. A black SUV was already running, engine rumbling. He shoved me toward it. "Get in." I hesitated. "Where the fuck are we going?" Harris turned to me, his expression dead serious. "You were right. Someone's setting you up." I swallowed. "Yeah, no shit. You don't get it." He looked around like he expected someone to be watching. "It's not just you, it's me, it's all of us." The way he said it sent a shiver down my spine. I climbed into the SUV, still shaking. He got in next to me and slammed the door shut. Then he pulled out his phone. He hesitated. Then he held it up for me to see. A new email. No sender, no subject line, just 2 words. "Run now," and attached to the email, a live feed. I felt my stomach twist into a knot, because it was footage of my apartment, and someone was inside. Not a cop, not a burglar, someone in a suit, standing perfectly still, waiting. And then, slowly, they turned their head to look at the camera. They smiled, and the feed cut to black. I turned to Harris. "What the fuck is happening?" He was already shifting the SUV into drive. "You were never supposed to take that course," he said. "You were never supposed to know about them." I was shaking. "Them?" Harris clenched his jaw. "Lesson 4. I swallowed. "What's lesson 4? He pulled out of the garage, slammed the gas pedal, and said the last thing I ever wanted to hear. "Erase the problem." I barely had time to process what Harris said before the SUV jerked forward at full speed. Tires screeched as he swerved out of the FBI parking garage onto the empty streets. It was late, past midnight, but the city was still alive. The neon glow of gas stations, the flickering lights of shitty motels, the occasional homeless guy pushing a cart down the sidewalk. None of them knew what the fuck was happening inside this car. None of them knew that I was running for my life. I gripped the door handle, trying not to freak out. "Who the fuck are they, Harris?" "Who's trying to erase me?" He didn't answer. He was gripping the wheel so hard his knuckles had gone white. His jaw was clenched, eyes scanning the road like he was expecting something. And then, the headlights behind us. Bright as fuck. Too close. I turned in my seat and felt my stomach drop. Black SUV, no plates, coming fast. I barely had time to react before the first gunshot went off. Bang! The rear windshield exploded into shards. I ducked. Harris didn't. He kept driving like he didn't give a fuck. One hand on the wheel, the other pulling out his gun. He tossed it to me. "Take it." I stared at it like it was a live grenade. "Are you fucking serious? Take the goddamn gun." Another shot. This time it hit the side mirror, glass raining onto my lap. I grabbed the gun. It was heavier than I expected. My hands were already shaking, my pulse slamming in my ears. "What do I do?" Harris made a sharp right. tires screeching as we nearly hit a parked car. The SUV behind us followed. "Fucking shoot back!" I turned, heart racing. My hands were sweaty as I gripped the gun, trying to aim at the driver of the black SUV. Another shot, this time from them. It went straight through the headrest, right where my head had been 2 seconds ago. Fuck this! I squeezed the trigger. Bang! I missed. The bullet hit their hood, sparks flying. I fired again, missed again. Harris let out a growl. "Aim for the fucking tires!" I sucked in a breath, adjusted my grip, and pulled the trigger again. This time, I hit. The SUV swerved hard, its right front tire shredded. But they didn't stop. The fucker kept driving. I turned back to Harris. "They're still coming!" Harris didn't say anything, just yanked the wheel left and slammed on the brakes. I was thrown forward as the car spun, nearly flipping. The black SUV tried to swerve but lost control, slamming into a parked truck. I gasped for air, my head spinning, but Harris didn't waste time. He hit the gas again, speeding out of there before they could recover. We flew through a red light, barely dodging a passing cab. I looked back. No more headlights. They were gone, for now. I turned to Harris, my whole body trembling. "Who the fuck were they?" He exhaled through his nose, still gripping the wheel. "The people who run this shit. The ones who made that course. You were never supposed to buy it." I swallowed hard. "Why not?" Harris glanced at me, eyes dark. "Because it was never meant for people like you. It was a trap, a way to find useful recruits and the ones who don't make the cut." I already knew the answer. They get erased. I felt my stomach twist. "How long have you known about this?" He hesitated. "Years." I clenched my jaw. "And you're just telling me now?" He turned onto a dark road somewhere outside the city. No streetlights, just open road and nothing but trees on either side. "Because you're the first person who's ever survived this long." I felt my blood turn ice cold. "Most people don't make it past lesson 3, he muttered. "They either take the fall, or they're already dead by now." I was shaking so hard my teeth were almost chattering. "Why the fuck are you helping me then?" Harris didn't answer at first. Then finally, he sighed. "Because they tried to erase me too." I blinked. "What?" He kept driving. "I made the same mistake you did, years ago. Bought something I wasn't supposed to. Thought I could outsmart them." He laughed bitterly. "Didn't work out so well." I stared at him. "So what happened?" His grip on the wheel tightened. "They killed my partner, set me up for shit I didn't do, but before they could finish the job..." He exhaled. I ran. My heart pounded. "And you've been running ever since?" He nodded. "Until now." I swallowed. "And what happens now?" He was quiet for a long time. Then he said, "Now we fight back." I didn't know whether to feel relieved or even more fucking terrified. Before I could say anything else, the car lurched. A deep, thudding sound came from under us. The engine stuttered. Then bang! The back tires exploded. The SUV swerved. Harris lost control. And then we were spinning. Metal crunched. The sound of glass shattering. And then darkness. I woke up upside down. My body was tangled in the seatbelt. My head throbbing so hard it felt like my skull was splitting in half. The SUV was wrecked, flipped over in a ditch off the road. Smoke was rising from the crumpled hood, the smell of gasoline thick in the air. I groaned, trying to move, but my body felt like it had been through a meat grinder. My arms were numb, my legs were twisted weirdly, one pinned against the shattered dashboard. I turned my head, wincing. "Harris?" No response. I blinked hard, forcing myself to focus. Where the fuck was he? And then I saw it. His door was gone, completely ripped off. The driver's seat was empty. A streak of blood trailed into the trees. My stomach tightened. They had taken him. I didn't have time to process it. I needed to move, fast. I fumbled for the seatbelt latch, my fingers barely working. After what felt like an eternity, it finally clicked open, and I dropped onto the roof of the SUV, coughing from the smoke. Pain shot through my ribs, probably cracked. But I didn't have time to worry about that. I crawled out through the broken windshield, glass cutting into my palms. The second I got out, I froze. The road was empty, no headlights, no cars, just trees and darkness, and then a voice. "Get up." I turned so fast my vision blurred. A man stood at the edge of the road, wearing a black suit, the same kind as the guy from the live feed in my apartment, the one who had smiled at the camera. He was holding something in his hand, a gun. I swallowed hard. "Where's Harris?" The man didn't answer. He just took a step closer, his shoes crunching against the gravel. "You have two choices," he said, voice smooth, calm. "Come with us, or disappear." I clenched my fists, forcing myself to stand despite the pain. "You mean die?" The man smiled. "It doesn't have to be painful." I wanted to run. Every instinct in me was screaming to fucking run, but I knew it wouldn't work. Not against these people, so I did the only thing I could. I played dumb. "I don't even know what's going on," I said, keeping my voice steady. "You set me up for a murder I didn't commit. You put me in your fucking game, and now what? You want me to just roll over?" The man chuckled. "You don't get it, do you?" I stared at him. He stepped closer. "This was never about you," he said. "You were just a test." My blood ran cold. "A test for what?" The man tilted his head. "To see if you'd make a good asset." I felt my pulse hammer in my ears. "You clicked the link," he continued. "You followed the breadcrumbs. You wanted to learn how to scam people, how to make easy money. You were already halfway there." I felt sick. "You think we tricked you?" The man grinned. "No, Jason, we just gave you the push you were already looking for." No, that was bullshit. I wasn't like them. I wasn't some psycho killer. But I had clicked the link. I had paid for the course. I had wanted to learn how to scam people. And that's when I realized. They never picked random people. They picked people like me. I felt my hands shaking. "And Harris?" The man exhaled through his nose. "Oh, he failed his test a long time ago." I swallowed hard. "Is he still alive?" The man smiled. "For now." I clenched my fists. "Here's what's going to happen," the man continued. "You're going to get in that car." He gestured behind him to a sleek, black sedan that hadn't been there before. "And we'll take you somewhere safe. You'll get a new identity, a new life, and in return, you work for us." I felt like my lungs were collapsing. "And if I say no?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. The man's smile faded. "Then we erase you." I stared at him. This was it, the final lesson. Lesson 5, become the predator or stay the prey. I looked past him at the car. I could already imagine it. They'd take me somewhere far away, train me, break me, turn me into one of them, or I could die right here. I closed my eyes, took a breath, and then I moved. I grabbed a chunk of broken glass from the SUV's wreckage and lunged. The man wasn't expecting it. I slammed the glass into his throat. His eyes went wide. He let out a wet, gurgling sound as blood spilled over his suit. He staggered back, trying to reach for his gun, but I knocked it away. I grabbed his head and slammed it against the wreckage, once, twice, until he stopped moving. I was gasping for air, my hands covered in warm blood. And then another sound, a phone ringing. I looked down. The man's phone had fallen from his pocket. The screen was still on. A blocked number. I picked it up, answered. And before I could say anything, a voice came through. "Congratulations." I went still. The voice was calm, smooth, but not the man I had just killed. "Looks like you passed," the voice continued. I swallowed hard. "Fuck you." A chuckle. "Then, we'll be in touch." The line went dead. I stood there, shaking, the phone still clutched in my bloody hands. The black sedan was still there, idling. The SUV was burning. Harris was missing. I was free. But deep down, I knew the truth. I had never escaped the game. I had just become part of it.